Good evening and welcome to Sunset News. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Tuyeimo Halfiko. In the news tonight, the Deputy Sheriff in the Umsati region has been instructed to urgently execute 2 court orders against the northern businessman and husband of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Onesmus Tona Madila, to recover millions. A letter dated 21 July A letter dated 21 July 2026 addressed by a legal firm from Windhoek, incorporated to Deputy Sheriff John Adrian, instructs the sheriff to immediately execute 2 original rights of execution issued in the matter involving Amadila and Tobias Munjele and 3 others.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises. From artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Welcome back. A letter dated 21 July 2026 addressed by legal firm Windhoek Incorporated to Deputy Sheriff John Adrian Pleston instruct the sheriff to immediately execute 2 original rights of execution issued in the matter involving Amadila and Tobias Munjele and 3 others. The firm acting for the Tobias Munjele, Joseph Munjele, who are Ondangwa residents in the High Court proceedings, and the first to the 3rd respondents in the Supreme Court appeal, says the costs were awarded in favor of its client following Amadila's unsuccessful litigation over a disputed property in Ondangwa. According to the letter, Deputy Sheriff has been requested to serve the rights on Amadila and attach sufficient movable property, including vehicles and money held in bank accounts, to satisfy the amount of 471,535. The Development Bank of Namibia has invested more than 150 million in Kavango East over the past 10 years. Speaking during an engagement with the business community in Rundu, DBN Acting Chief Investment Officer Clive Toline Nauses said most of the funding was directed towards housing, construction, and business services. Housing received the largest share of the investment, which is 53 million, followed by construction with just over 40 million, and business services with more than 30 million. Together, the 3 sectors accounted for more than 80% of the bank's investment in the region. Take a look at the video.
We have invested 154 million for the past 10 years in the Kavango East region. What we have done is we have invested the first 3 sectors that are shown here is housing, construction, and business services. So that has taken up the bulk of our investment in the region. So in terms of what DBN does, our CEO has said that, just a moment. So in terms of DBN, what do we do? What are the typical loans that we advance? What are we actually there for? What do we do? So we lend to Namibian registered businesses. So we lend out to legal entities. You need to be a registered entity. So my presentation is more about large enterprises. So on the National Youth Development Fund, there are a few concessions there, but when I speak, I'm actually speaking of large enterprises. We finance project finance structures. We have corporate finance structures. So what project finance just means is that if you have a specific project and your income is derived from that specific one, that income can be earmarked to repay the loan. Whereas if you have an existing business and you want to expand your business and you need funds, we can look at your whole business for the repayment of the loan. So what sets the DBN apart from your conventional commercial banks, other commercial banks? What makes us different? Okay, it's because we have longer terms. Yeah? We can offer longer terms, especially on infrastructure. Let's say if we have to fund your road systems, your electricity systems, those systems that we will fund will be here for the longest period, for decades. That's why we are able to go up to 20 years for infrastructure facilities. And then we also have grace periods of up to 3 years. I don't think you will find those grace periods at commercial banks. So what a grace period means is that for the first 3 years, obviously depending on your project and so on, you do not need to pay the bank for that period. So what it allows you to do is to focus on investing in your business time and structuring your business accordingly. So we can do that up to 3 years. And then we can also give loans up to 390 million. But if your project is more than that, you can still approach us. We can still fund you by co-funding with our development partners regionally as well as local commercial banks. What we also, especially on the large enterprise side, is to also see that you as the entrepreneur, as the owner of the business, also puts in some money. Okay, and then we want to support projects that have high development impact. Because we are a development bank, we want development to happen. So these are usually projects that ensure that there are jobs that are created. These are projects that ensure that there are export earnings for the country. And also projects that are there for import substitution. So you
A Namibian psychologist says boys are not naturally more prone to crime than girls are, but are being shaped by poverty, trauma, violence, and harmful social expectations. Dr. Sean Whitaker, in an interview with Network Media Hub, said the fact that boys account for 91% of child offenders should not be seen as evidence that they are inherently more criminal. Instead, Whitaker says many boys grow up in an environment marked by poverty, food insecurity, violence, and a lack of positive male role models, making them more vulnerable to offending. He said that boys are often raised to suppress their emotions and appear tough, while peer pressure and the great exposure to risky environments can increase the likelihood of criminal behavior. His comments come after the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare rolled out its strategic plan for 2025 to 2030, which aims to strengthen support for the boy child, expand sociological services, and promote positive parenting. Whitaker welcomed the focus on early intervention, saying providing support to children at a young age offers the best chance of preventing crime in life later on. Let's To continue with the news bulletin, dozens of the surviving children of Namibian businessman Frans Aupa Indongo are calling for the removal of Frans Indongo Trust Chairman Dr. Solomon Soli Amadila, the group accuses the trust of failing to provide financial and other support they believe as beneficiaries they were promised. Trustees, however, maintain that the request falls outside the trust governing rules. Trustees also said that the children have not been listed as beneficiaries in the trust. Documents seen by Network Media Hub show that a committee representing 48 of Indongo's children has raised concerns about the management of the trust and its engagement with beneficiaries. The committee says an agreement reached with trustees in 2020 included regular meetings and plans to consider financial support for business expansion, employment assistance for its beneficiaries or alleged beneficiaries, and they said that they also submitted applications and quotations for projects including supermarkets, construction businesses, and poultry farming ventures, but claim they have not received feedback from their trustees. The committee says they have since reached a deadlock. Should I say that? We're going for a short break. Please do stay tuned. Don't go away.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you are watching Sunset News. The Office of the Prosecutor General Martha Imara said that human trafficking cases are on the rise in several parts of the country, with many linked to online romance scams. Martha Nyonanye, who was speaking on behalf of the Prosecutor General during the commemoration of World Day Against Trafficking in Persons in Ongwediva, said Oshakati recorded the biggest increase, with cases rising from 3 in 2024 to 10 in 2025/2026. In Ondangwa, cases increased from 1 to 3 over the same period. While the Zambezi region has recorded 10 trafficking in persons cases, Nyonanya urged the public to remain vigilant against trafficking and online scams. She said that if they work together, they can ensure that nobody is left behind and that no dream is ever stolen again.
Reveal that trafficking in person cases prosecuted in Oshakati have more than tripled, rising from 3 cases during the 2024-2025 reporting period to 10 cases in 2025-2026 reporting period. Ondangwa Court, on the other hand, reported 1 case on the roll during the 2024-2025 reporting period, which has since increased to 3 cases during the 2025-2026 reporting period. In majority of those cases, the victims are subjected to sexual and labor exploitation. With regard to the Zambezi region, we currently have 5 trafficking in persons cases on the roll. In 2 of the cases, The victims were subjected to labor exploitation, and the remaining 3 are trafficking cases with organ harvesting as the form of exploitation. These figures, once again, serve as a reminder that trafficking in person is an escalating threat within our communities. As we commemorate this day, let us renew our commitment to dismantling these trafficking networks, because behind every one of these scams is a human being whose dreams have been exploited for profit. Together,
the famous MTC Kasi Vibe Festival has officially kicked off at Brakwater Recreational Park in Windhoek today. The 4-day festival, known for celebrating youth entrepreneurship, entertainment, and local businesses, was officially opened by President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, who attended the opening ceremony where she commended founders Willie Barth and Selma Shiweda for creating a platform that empowers young Namibians. She said the festival gives young entrepreneurs, creatives, and small businesses an opportunity to showcase their talent, products, and services. Nandi-Ndaitwah encouraged continued support for initiatives that create opportunities for young people and contribute to the economic growth. Please take a look.
The invitation extended to me to be part of this well-thought initiative. Now I even understand the meaning, and it is telling from the audience that are here. I commend the founders of the MTC Cast Fiber Festival, Velbert and Selma Shiweda, the family, these young Namibian couples who created the platform that empowers young people by providing opportunities to showcase their entrepreneurial ventures, creative talents, production, and services is highly commendable. My great admiration goes to the partners and the sponsors of this annual event that brings together entrepreneurs, artists, innovators, and small and medium enterprises, and families from across the country. I have to congratulate and thank
We are going for a quick commercial break, and we will be back with more economic news.
This week's decisions, today's debates, tomorrow's consequences. The agenda puts the spotlight on Namibia's most pressing issues and the people driving them. From headline makers to groundbreakers, we bring you the voices and perspectives at the center of the national conversation. One story, one interview, the depth you won't find anywhere else. That is The Agenda. Catch The Agenda on 102.com and on ntv.my.na.
Welcome back. For economic news tonight, Namibia has attracted $1.2 billion in clean energy investment between 2023 and 2025, placing it among sub-Saharan Africa's leading renewable energy markets. New data from Bloomberg NEF ranks Namibia fifth in the region, just behind South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and Senegal. The report says that sub-Saharan Africa recorded $13.5 billion in renewable energy investment in 2025, marking the third consecutive year the region has attracted more than $12 billion. Despite a slowdown in South Africa's investment, Bloomberg NEF identified Namibia as one of the region's standout performers for growth in large-scale renewable energy projects during 2025, alongside Zambia, Ghana, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. We will now bring you our economic indicators. Please do stay with us. The Namibian dollar today is trading against the British pound at 22.27. It's trading at 19.10 Namibian dollars against the euro, and with the US dollar, the Namibian dollar is trading at 16.66. The Namibian dollar is trading at 2.46 against the Chinese yuan. For the economic commodities, we see that there is an upturn for the gold at 0.33%, and it's trading at 4,098.25 per ounce. The platinum is also having a positive on trading at 1,620.36 per ounce with 0.37%. Thank you for watching. We will take a quick break. Wait, the thing went off.
Mornings just got better, Namibia. From the latest headlines to the hottest trends, we're bringing you the conversations that matter.
That's right. Bright minds, bold opinions, and a touch of morning magic. This is your daily dose of energy.
So grab a cup and join in on the conversation every weekday morning at 8 o'clock with Smell the Coffee, hosted by Diana Master and Aina Riza Quayo.
With the international news, detained prominent Ugandan opposition figure Kizza Besigye, who collapsed while in court on Wednesday, is unconscious and has been admitted to the intensive care unit, his wife said in a post on the X platform today. Besigye, who is 70, collapsed in court on the capital Kampala, where he is standing trial for treason. Please do stay with us. We will be bringing you our latest weather update. Katima Mulilo will be having a 10 degrees minimum and a 29 degrees maximum. The coldest will be Windhoek, who will be experiencing a 10 degrees minimum and 24 degrees for maximum. Henties Bay is also sunny with 15 degrees minimum and 26 degrees maximum. Oranjemund will be partly cloudy with 15 degrees minimum and 27 degrees maximum. We are crossing over for our sports news from Rory Hart.
Good day, everyone. Time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. It is soccer news from the English Premier League, from Newcastle United specifically, and it is the coach of Newcastle United, Eddie Howe, that is set to leave the club with immediate effect. And Howe was under pressure for some time now. Didn't have a good season last year. They finished 12th on the log. That is Newcastle in the English Premier League. They lost 17 of their 38 games in the previous season. Also on a good start building up to the new season in the latest friendly game that Newcastle played against Bristol City. It was Bristol City that won that game by 4-1. And also Newcastle United under pressure to keep their captain at the moment. It is Bruno Guimaraes, and he's been chased by Arsenal for his signature to leave the club. And so the biggest news now is that Eddie Howe looks set to leave the club as the coach. Continuing international sports news with Commonwealth Games news, that is from Glasgow in Scotland, and it's netball news. It is South Africa that lost to Australia. That was 57-47. It was more competitive than many thought, and now there's a big game coming up for